RANS, performance beyond tradition. Our goal is simple: to provide you, the kit plane builder, with a safe, easy-to-build aircraft with exceptional performance, durability, and value. We've achieved this goal, and to help you understand how, let's meet Randy Schlitter, the president of RANS.
An aircraft is a design problem. How one solves this problem determines the aircraft performance, durability, cost, and safety. At RANS, we are constantly testing new ideas, evolving the design. We listen to you, the kit plane builder. We put ourselves in your place by building the kits just like you would, straight out of the box. Our planes enjoy a high degree of part commonality. This economy of scale allows us to deliver greater value and quality. We constantly fly our planes, testing their performance and durability. This experience gives us the edge to provide you performance beyond tradition.
RANS, performance beyond tradition. We talk about durability. Just how are these kits made and what sets them apart from other kits? Let's start in our factory. Numerous computer-controlled machines allow for high tolerances in manufacturing, ensuring accuracy and correct fit. Our employees are highly trained. Their technical skills assure you of an exceptionally well-built aircraft. Our paint department uses advanced processes to paint most metal parts for protection and beauty. Fuselages and many other components are powder-coated. Our weld shop is staffed with expert craftsmen who meticulously weld components with various methods such as MIG and TIG processes. All components go through 3 major inspections and secondary inspections during the finishing process. The careful attention to detail and quality is evidenced in the sew shop. Each aircraft skin is precisely cut, taped, and meticulously sewn. The tolerances are exacting, resulting in a smooth, tight fit every time. Our sew shop produces not only the aircraft covering, but the pilot restraints, upholstery, baggage compartments, and all forms of covers. Finally, our shipping department takes great care in packaging each kit. Our crates are constructed of quality plywood to assure the kit arrives undamaged. RANS, performance beyond tradition. When you purchase a RANS kit aircraft, some questions may arise. For example, how much room is needed to build the kit? The average double-car garage is adequate to build any of our kits. What kind of tools and skills are required to build a RANS aircraft? Common power and hand tools are used to build all of the RANS kits. Clecos are very handy. Some models even include a handful of clecos and pliers. A drill press also comes in handy but is not required. Other special power tools such as disc sanders, grinders, and power saws will make the job easier. Painting the plane does require both the equipment and skills of an experienced painter. Our quick build models require no painting other than a clear coat. All the parts are either anodized, painted, or plated. Large sheet metal parts, such as the full enclosure on the S-12, come in alclad aluminum, which can be polished. What form of pilot certification is required? All RANS aircraft require a recreational or a private pilot license. How reliable is the two-stroke engine, and what is the time before overhaul? The failure rate of two-stroke engines in small planes is improving. The reasons: better engines and care. Our research indicates operator error to be the #1 reason for problems. Educating the operator has proven the best means of increasing engine service life and reliability. The average time between overhaul is around 300 hours. With two strokes, the signs indicating time to overhaul are fast approaching and subtle. It's easy to miss these signs, therefore an hour meter is more practical. When the engine gets to a certain number of hours, maintenance is required. A schedule of recommended maintenance is issued with each RANS kit and appears in the operations section of the assembly manual. What type of four-stroke engines are available? We currently offer the Rotax 912. We have tested the Limbach and will be looking into other four-stroke engines as good candidates become available. The 912 is our favorite engine over other four cycles. It has a good power-to-weight ratio and low fuel consumption. The price is of concern to many who compare this engine to the initial purchase price of two-cycle engines. To understand why the 912 is a cost-effective option, you have to look past the initial purchase price. The 912 will most likely run 1,000 hours TBO and burn 33% less fuel than the 582. Can I buy the kit less engine? All of our kits can be purchased less engine, mounts, prop, cowling, or cooling system if applicable. A word of warning: engines and prices change. If you take too long to buy your engine, you may find a higher price or some elements of your system obsolete. Can I activate the engine warranty when I'm ready to fly? Yes, our engine suppliers will work with us on extending warranties. All that is required is a letter stating your request. Does RANS issue airworthiness directives? Your safety is one of our primary concerns. We issue ADs to all affected owners stating the exact nature of the problem, the cost of the solution, if any, and the degree of urgency. In addition to ADs, RANS also issues operational and assembly alerts. These are bulletins that inform you of any potential problems. A newsletter containing pertinent information on new products and ideas is circulated to all original owners. What are the wing spars and ribs made of? Tubular aluminum spars and ribs comprise the bulk of the typical RANS wing. The alloy is 6061 T6, certified aircraft material. All structural tubing is inspected and anodized for corrosion protection. No other finish work is required. All fittings and hardware are certified materials. Each batch of our custom lift strut extrusion is tested by an independent lab to verify the alloy and strength. The ribs on our dope and fabric planes are built of small aluminum tubes, special gussets, and clips. The wings are covered with either 4-ounce Dacron or 2.8-ounce aircraft fabric. How are the ribs constructed and attached on Dacron-covered wings? The ribs are installed after the wing skins are slipped over the wing frames. Rib pockets are sewn into the wing. The ribs are preformed half-inch aluminum tubes. You install special plastic tips on the ends and slip them into the rib pockets. How are the wing skins made tight? All RANS Dacron-covered models, with the exception of the Coyote I, feature the root rib tensioning system. To skin a wing, you slide on the pre-sewn envelope and attach it to the root rib. The root rib is attached to the spars with all thread bolts. Cranking tight the two bolts pulls the root rib in, stretching the fabric. A cross the cord tension is obtained when the ribs are installed. How long will the coverings last? Should I clear coat the covering? The life of your skin, be it either dope and fabric or Dacron, is directly related to the amount of hours it is exposed to the sun. Keeping your plane hangered is a must if you expect to get any length of service from your coverings. If a good clear coat is applied and the plane is hangered, you can expect up to 10 years of service. By contrast, an unprotected skin would last only a mere 9 months. Where can I get new skins when it's time, and can we put dope and fabric on later? What types are recommended? We can supply you with a new skin, or any good sale loft can take the old skins and sew new ones. If this is not possible, dope and fabric retrofit kits are being made available for most models. We use the same process as stitch on our dope and fabric planes. The brand of fabric is Cooper Superflight. We have found this to be a superior material for our aircraft. How are the flight controls actuated? Most models use push-pull tubes for the ailerons and elevators. Rudders are cable controlled. What are the flight characteristics of RANS planes? How much testing is done on a RANS aircraft? All of our aircraft fly like conventional planes. Each model has its special traits relative to the purpose of that model. For example, the S-9s and S-10s are aerobatic planes with little static pitch stability. The rest of the models, when properly trimmed, will fly hands-off even in turbulence. We use FAA standards in regard to flight characteristics, structure, and stability. All RANS aircraft undergo thorough flight testing prior to production. Flight tests include all forms of stalls, spins, high-altitude tests, dive and flutter, and high-impact landings. The testing never stops at RANS. Our test pilots fly our fleet of test aircraft almost daily. Service testing has been helpful in the continued refinement and safety. Now that you've been introduced to RANS, and now that you understand why we say performance beyond tradition, let's look at our individual models. First, the Coyote I. In March 1983, the first Coyote flew. The humble little one-seater has grown into a highly acclaimed aircraft around the world. The design endures today as a highly evolved kit plane with the original design goal intact. The goal was to build a kit plane that looks, flies, and handles like a conventional plane, but has a very low build time of under 100 hours. The original Coyotes could be assembled in 90 hours or less. Today's Coyote, even with its added sophistication and extra performance, still builds in 130 hours. Low build times are possible due to the high level of pre-finished parts, pre-sewn skins, and ease of assembly. A Coyote can be built in the confines of an average garage using normal shop tools and skills. First-time and experienced kit builders are attracted to the Coyote because of the ease of construction and quality. The Coyote is available in two different versions, the S4 tail dragger and the S5 trike gear. Next, let's look at the S-6ES Coyote II. The S-6ES went into production in April 1990. It's the second generation of the original S-6 design. Increased wingspan through a fuselage redesign resulted in improved performance and appearance. The ES denotes extended span. The design goals the S-6 achieved represented a significant advance in quick-build kit planes. The S-6ES series takes this goal even further. Using all pre-finished parts and pre-sewn skins, the build time averages between 200 and 250 hours. Coyote IIs can be built in the confines of an average garage using normal shop tools and skills. First-time and experienced kit builders are attracted to the Coyote because of the ease of construction and quality. The result is a professional finish with performance to match. A proven outstanding performer, the S-6ES, piloted by Philip Zen, won the 1992 World Microlight Competition by a 20% margin in all events. This demonstration of air superiority has led to the S-6ES's quick rise in numbers worldwide. The S-6ES is available as either a conventional or trike gear. Now let's look at the S-7 Courier. The S-7 Courier is an easy-to-build, fun-to-fly, built-to-last airplane capable of flying 200 miles on 13 gallons of fuel with exceptional STOL performance. The S-7 can take off and land practically anywhere. This is a real-size aircraft capable of accommodating 6'6" pilots and passengers. The S-7 can be built using common shop tools and skill within 500 to 700 hours. Our kit is nearly complete, with the exception of instruments and finishing materials such as paint, primers, and fillers. Now it's time to look at our S9 Chaos. The Chaos has been in production since 1986. The Chaos is popular the world over in aerobatic competitions and sport flying. A Chaos airframe is a perfect match for the new breed of powerful two-stroke engines. A stock S9 equipped with the Rotax 503 47 horsepower engine is potent enough to compete in sportsman class aerobatics. S9s have been equipped with up to 100 horsepower engines with spectacular results. With full inverted capability, a Chaos can whip through an advanced routine, leaving little doubt about the plane and pilot's ability to finesse the figures. Aerobatics is the intent of the Chaos, but the well-behaved plane is great for cross-country or around-the-patch flight. Pilot workload is minimal due to the light control pressures. However, do not expect the S9 to fly hands-off. Designed to be agile, the S9 is neutral in roll and pitch stability. Now let's look at the S-10 Sakota. Simply stated, the S-10 is a 10. The S-10 Sakota is everything you hoped for and more. The handling is great fun, quick on all axes with plenty of authority at any speed. The roll rate is 180 degrees per second. Adverse yaw is minimal. Takeoffs and landings are solid on directional control. Touchdown speeds below 50 miles an hour with flaps make for short field operations. The climb is rocket-like, 1,000 to 1,500 feet per minute. Cruise speed is 95 to 110 miles an hour. The build time is 350 to 500 hours. The kit is very complete with all critical elements prefabricated. Aerobatic's S-10 style look good. It's smooth, quick, and graceful. Aileron rolls are extremely easy. The S-10 can be flown aerobatically, solo, or normal category with two. Look to the S-10 for aerobatics and cross-country flight. let's take a look at probably the most talked about aircraft in the industry, the S-11 Pursuit. The wing body structure allows considerable weight and drag savings. Over 60% of the lift is generated by the body. The wings are actually called boosters because their interaction with the body boosts aspect ratio and stability. The strength is outstanding because no one area sees a high load. The Pursuit is a capable aircraft, bringing STOL performance, high cruise speed, super maneuverability, and aerobatics together in a sleek package. The S-12 Airaile went into production in March 1990. It was created in response to many domestic and foreign requests for an economical two-seat pusher, a plane that is easy to assemble, fly, and maintain. Brisk sales of this model confirm we hit the design goals on the mark. Like many RANS crafts, the S-12 can be built in the confines of an average garage using normal shop tools and skills. First-time and experienced kit builders are attracted to the Airaile because of the ease of construction and quality. The result is a professional finish with performance to match. Since its introduction, hundreds of S-12 Airailes have been produced. By the end of '92, a fleet of at least 250 S-12s had taken to the skies, accumulating at least 5,000 hours of fleet flight time. let's look at the S-14. If you've been waiting for someone to build a sporty flying, quick-build, single-seat pusher, your ship, or rather your plane, has come in. The basic concept of the RANS S-14 was to create a quick-build pusher that has the fun handling of the S-9 Chaos. The first flights of the S-14 instantly revealed we had another hit on our hands. It flies for the pilot. It senses your whims and responds to them with little effort. Control harmony is among the best yet. Roll feel is solid and just plain fun. Flying in a straight line will prove to be difficult, not due to directional stability, but to the high fun factor. Stalls and spins are honest and predictable. Recovery is affected with the mere relaxing of pressures. Spins are actually fun because of the precise recovery. Cruise can be set at a leisurely pace of 50 miles an hour or a hot-footed 80 miles an hour on the 503 engine. Once in a while, a plane rolls out of our R&D hangar and comes through the flight test with little change. The S-14 is one of those charmed planes. It has fulfilled the design goals and then some. The level of changes being made to the production version is so minor the prototype could be considered a production aircraft. It's a great plane with a lasting charm to please even the most discriminating pilot. RANS, performance beyond tradition.
Thank you for taking the time to look at our fine line of aircraft. Perhaps one of these planes will fulfill your aviation dreams. To find out more about our products, we'd like to invite you to visit our factory for an up-close look and flight demonstration, so you can discover for yourself what we mean by performance beyond tradition.
RANS, performance beyond tradition.